My wife Daisy left her job after a heated fallout with her boss. Something about that place just never sat right with her. She told me she had uncovered something shady, suspected they were trying to drag her into something illegal. She wasn't the kind of person to stay silent in the face of corruption, and so, without looking back, she walked out of that toxic environment. It was a bold move, but one I respected. She dove back into the job market, this time with her eyes wide open and standards higher than ever. I assured her she didn't have to rush. I was earning enough to keep us steady, and not once did I make her feel pressured to get back into the grind. I wanted her to find something she believed in, something that wouldn't drain her soul the way her last job had. Weeks passed and Daisy explored different paths, more cautious but also more curious. Then one evening she walked through the door glowing with excitement, eyes gleaming like a child with a secret too big to hold in. "I have some great news," she said, unable to contain her grin. "Really? Tell me," I asked, smiling back. "You won't believe it, I got a job," she beamed. "That's amazing. Where?" I asked, my heart lifting with hers. "Remember Stanley from my college class?" Of course I remembered Stanley. The guy used to orbit around Daisy back in the day like a lovesick satellite, always trying to impress her, always falling a little short. Nerdy, awkward, but persistent. "Well," she continued, "he runs his own company now. Pretty big one too. Got super into fitness, totally transformed himself. He looks so different now." I raised an eyebrow, surprised. "Is he still married?" I asked without thinking. "No, he and his wife split up. 2 kids, joint custody," she said, then dropped the real news. "He offered me a job. Not just any job, I'm second in command." I was stunned. Just like that. I have the experience and he trusts me. It all came together so fast. She was bursting with energy and optimism. I didn't want to cloud that joy, even if something in my gut twisted just a little. Over the next few weeks, I watched her come home every evening brighter, more alive than I'd seen her in years. She spoke endlessly about new projects, team meetings, challenges she was tackling, occasionally slipping in updates about Stanley, his kids, funny things they said or did. At first, I chalked it up to the novelty of a fresh start. I wanted to believe she was just happy. Then one night, she told me she had to travel for a week. "There's a big deal we need to close. It has to be done in person," she explained. "If it's important, go for it," I told her, trying to stay supportive. "Don't worry, I'll call every day," she promised. And she did, checking in each evening, telling me she was stuck in her hotel room swimming in paperwork. I missed her, so I started planning a surprise dinner to welcome her back. When she returned, she was in high spirits. Stanley had apparently given everyone a few days off as a reward, so we made a spontaneous plan to spend time together. We went shopping, grabbed lunch, laughed like we hadn't in a long time. Felt good. I started to believe things were truly falling into place again. But then, at the mall, everything came crashing down. As we turned a corner, a man walked toward us with 2 young kids. The moment they saw Daisy, their faces lit up like little firecrackers. "Daisy, when are we going to the lake again?" one of them shouted. "Can we go swimming next time?" the other asked, tugging at her hand. I froze. Time seemed to slow. Stanley stood just behind them, trying to avoid my eyes. Daisy looked like she wanted to vanish into thin air. Stanley muttered an awkward goodbye and led the kids away. I stared at her, my voice tight and low. "You told me you were alone that whole week." "Oh, you know how kids are, they say all kinds of things," she laughed nervously, waving it off. But her face gave her away. We drove home in silence, her denials echoing hollowly in the car. But I couldn't unsee what I'd seen. Couldn't unhear the familiarity in those children's voices. The way they spoke, the comfort they showed, it wasn't the first time they'd been with her. It was routine. They hadn't mistaken her for someone else. They knew her. That night, everything erupted. The truth came out not in calm conversation but in a firestorm of accusations, tears, shouting. She tried to explain, to minimize it, to paint it as innocent. But the damage was already done. The trust had cracked beyond repair. And in the end, she packed a bag and moved in with her sister. Not long after, we divorced. I didn't try to fix things. I didn't chase her, plead, or wonder if I should have done more. Too much had been shattered. Whatever foundation we had was now dust. Ironically, things didn't work out the way she might have imagined either. I heard later that it fizzled with Stanley. She wasn't the stepmom material he probably hoped for, and he wasn't the dream man she thought she had remembered. That fantasy dissolved just as quickly as it had been rekindled. Life has a strange way of revealing truths when you least expect them. Sometimes it doesn't come through confessions or suspicions. It comes around a mall corner in the form of 2 children shouting questions you never wanted to hear. And if I learned anything from it all, it's this. Never assume everything is fine just because someone says so. Pay attention. Sometimes the truth is right there, hiding in plain sight.